Hello and welcome. I'm Andy Hodges and I'm here at the 30th session of the Intergovernmental Committee of Senior Officials and Experts of Southern Africa being held in Livingstone, Zambia under the auspices of the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, UNECA, Sub-Regional Office for Southern Africa, and of course being hosted by the government of Zambia. Now the theme of the meeting or the conference is leveraging renewable energy resources for a just energy transition in Southern Africa. And of course, the second conversation is all about the financing climate action, particularly in Southern Africa and of course in SADC. Now of course, all countries in Southern Africa are represented here at the conference at a senior level because it is a group of experts who know about renewable energy, they know all about it, and also coming up with the recommendations and action points for the Southern African governments, for SADC governments, hopefully to implement going forward. I'm now joined by Helvi Ileka. She is the head of renewable energy and energy efficiency at the Namibia Energy Institute. Helvi, welcome and thank you for talking to me. Of course, I suppose my first question is, what exactly is the Namibia Energy Institute?
Thank you very much for having me. The Namibia Energy Institute is a national institute established with funding, and it's funded by the Ministry of Mines and Energy in Namibia. And it's a collaboration between the university and the Ministry of Mines and Energy. So we are hosted at the Namibia University of Science and Technology. We have 4 centers: a center of renewable energy, a center of oil and gas, a center of nuclear sciences, and a center of electricity supply. And I'm the head of the Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency.
Let's talk about Namibia's energy mix, energy matrix. What is Namibia doing? Are you importing your power? Are you producing power? What type of energy mix do you have in the country?
At the moment, we are importing, for example, in 2023, we imported all our energy. We imported more than 60%.
Of your energy was imported?
Yes.
From South Africa?
So we are part of SAP. So we usually got it from our big brother, South Africa. But we deviate a little bit. Now we are getting more from the region, including South Africa. Including Zambia.
Zambia as well.
Yeah.
But that seems to imply you're not producing your own electricity. Are you?
We have a hydropower station, which is a runoff, and it's also affected by drought sometimes.
Like now?
Like now. And we also have, for example, renewable energy that are feeding to the grid. And we have some mini grid. Some public institutions are electrified with solar. And we also have a solar revolving fund which provides loans to the household.
Because that's important, the financing part, because one of the arguments was that the solar is too expensive for citizens. They can't afford it. So you actually have put in place a financing structure to let me, a Namibian, or if I was one, be able to access finance to put solar.
Yes. So since already 1996, there's this fund in place, providing loans to households. And the government was focusing only on electrification of public institutions which do not have electricity. They are financed through containerized systems, and then we have 2 large mini grid since 2001 since 2011.
The one thing you have is lots of sun, so in Namibia. The private sector's role in your energy matrix, because it's critical. Government cannot and should not do this alone. The private sector should come in, it should be viable to be able to produce reliable, efficient, and of course affordable energy to citizens. So how are you working with the private sector to try and understand some of the solutions and moving forward in terms of investment? What's happening?
So we have our regulator, We have a regulator, and they have developed some regulations which are now in place. Before, we only have a single buyer model, which was our main utility, was the only utility that can trade and legally, yes.
So you have to change that now.
But our regulator have now put in place some regulations called modified single buyer model. Like we have, and then that brought in already a number of independent power producers in the system, producing standalone, producing power from grid, and power from solar. We also have one wind power. We have one, but yes. So our utility is now in the process of also of procuring a power plant again through a PPP, a triple P, on biomass. A biomass, because what for us, the country is so large, and it does sometimes you have more losses. You want the power to be produced to where energy is being consumed, and so there is a number of PV on the grid, which are produced from independent power producer. I think last week we even have now one IPP who's also going to produce power that is also directly going through SAP.
Now, one thing that's interesting about Namibia is that you're also exploring green hydrogen, aren't you? Talk to me about that, because that is not something that is normal in terms of the matrix. I think in Africa, a lot of people aren't looking at green hydrogen yet. Namibia is.
Yes. So the country is really looking at green hydrogen, and they have developed strategies and also have put now in place a number of entities that are already doing research, and they are also looking at that development, but mainly to have ammonia, which we can export for where energy is made.
It's a lot of money. It's a big project.
It's a partnership with German government, but we already also have local projects that are like that. I think it's expected that from this week to next week we will have already tangible green hydrogen. So there are 4 projects which are currently, we're just waiting. We're almost already done with the construction, and they are just now busy with
because it's all about
they were just waiting for electrolyzers.
It's all about shipping it and making it economically viable where it goes.
For shipping, some are thinking, with some projects focusing on research, also for green ammonia and for green iron, for example. And also some are really for ships and for improving that.
It almost seems Namibia is perfectly positioned to become, to actually produce renewable energy and actually make it an export. Make it part of your trade and industry, so to speak, because you have the power enough for your people, and now you can actually produce green. You can put solar in the deserts and actually now hopefully help power Southern Africa. Is that also a strategy as well? I'm sure it must be.
Yes. I think that's really what we are envisaging as a country with a potential wind and solar, and also have harbors where energy can be.
Now, just to wrap up, your Namibia Energy Institute, does it also assist the government in policy formulation? In how does that work?
Yes. So our mandate is really to make sure that, for example, energy which is generated in the country is sustainable, and then this is now. So our mandate is really to build the capacity. So training, making sure that the technical, scientific barriers are removed, which are hindering all this technology to be sustainable. So we train in renewable energy, we train in oil and gas. We also looking at scientific training of nuclear science and as well as electricity.
Nuclear, that's an interesting one. Are you exploring? Yeah, you say nuclear science because you're talking about building nuclear power.
No, there's really a lot that the community. We have uranium, for example, in the country. We are mining. And also there is a lot of training needs to sensitize the Namibian community on the science, on the danger, and also to prepare the Namibian environment in case if there will be a power plant, but we really just want to look at the science of it.
It's just another avenue to explore and then to see is it viable, is that the way we're going to go, but at least you have to look at everything.
But there's a lot of what is needed to basically to train the community in the whole science of radioactive, for example, and what the impact and effect which can affect the people in the mining sector, for example.
Because it's important to bring the community into the conversation, isn't it?
Yes.
This isn't a top-down approach. This is a bottom-up approach so that Namibian citizens have a chance to participate in this.
Yes, so we build the capacity. We manage projects on behalf of the Ministry of Mines and Energy and NAST. We also assist when we do research, and if we find something which needs a policy to be developed, then we assist the Ministry of Mines and Energy in regulation and policy development.
We
also do advisory services.
Yes, to the government and
to the government,
and the private sector?
To both, to government, private sector, and
research, as you said.
Research. So we, for example, we always work hand in hand with SACRI, SADC Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency. We also we also sometimes receive support from the Kafue Gorge Regional Training Center to make sure that we train at the national level. So we work with our regional institutions to make sure
region.
In the SADC.
Helvi Ileka, Head of Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency at the Namibia Energy Institute. Madam, thank you so much for speaking to me. Most appreciated. But as I said, it's clear that across Southern Africa and SADC, there are research going on. There are different projects, different ideas, different paths. We heard from Namibia, they're talking about exploring green hydrogen energy. Exciting times ahead. I'm Andy Hodges. Goodbye, and please, you all be safe.